want to ask, I'm going to take this back. We're talking about long distance relationships, but I want to find out from you guys, before we even get to the long distance, why do you get into a relationship? As it just goes, you like someone, you're like, ooh, just give me something. You know, I feel you, girl. Let's do the thing. Or you actually, as Pan and Allison, you said you're trying to build to something with you and your potential man. Your okay, not you two together, but I mean like your potential man in Jamaica. You said, okay, this is what we're going to do. You're here, I'm here. And then Panache said, at some point you need to meet in the middle and say, okay, fine, I want to get married, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But before you do that, why do you guys date?
Wait, are you asking, like, why do we decide to say, okay, we're going to stay on this long distance?
No, not even long distance.
I'm going to be exclusive. All right.
First of all, before it even becomes a long distance, why are you going out with that person? Like, if I were to ask you out, Brian, right now, you say yes, why would you say yes? And don't just say no, because man's cool, he's funny, he's got a beard.
What? It's really the beard, though. Like, that's all there.
I feel like there's more to me, guys. Okay, no, but real talk. Real talk. Because I feel a lot of people, they just get into relationships because they think, oh, okay, I like you. Okay, but also because I'm a lot older now. So I've always been intentional when I date. I've only ever had 2 girlfriends. And with those, are like, okay, fine, we're going to make this work. It didn't work. Shop. Not like I'm saying I'm hopping from person to person, but a lot more people. I know people that have been in relationships. Monday, break up. Next week, someone else.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you guys, in the relationships that you have been in, and hopefully going forward, why did you get into them, and why would you get into your next one?
Personally, I'm a futuristic kind of person. So I'm thinking, obviously, you know, there's the vibe in and the, you know, the good energy and whatever attraction that we have going on. But also, I'd like to envision you in my future. Can I see this person, you know, building with me, growing with me, being part of what I'm trying to build? And that's not everybody who's going to be able to do that for me. Obviously, it's a very particular kind of future. It's hella lit. But for me, those I think that's like the overarching thing to say. This person, are they fitting into this image? Or even if it's liable to changing, are they the type of person that'll be able to sort of complement whatever changes then happen in, you know, this image that I have or that he has? And at the same time, am I able to fit into his? So for me, it's all about that futuristic sort of destination that I'm trying to go for.
I feel like you're itching, girl.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, okay. Like, to be honest, I agree with Brandy. Like, that's how I am as well. I'm like, okay, I'm getting into this relationship. Hopefully it ends up there. I have a certain area where I want to see that relationship. And be it anticipation, whatever it is. But when I get with someone, I'm like, okay, this is cool. But, you know, you never, ever see 100% of a human being immediately. Or even through a year. There's things about my own parents that I find, I'm like, what? Why are you doing that? You know, things like that. You never, I don't think you can ever know someone that much. You can know them very well, true. But I don't think you can be like, okay, 100%, I will know. And I think why the relationships have ended is because, you know, now you're seeing things and you're like, You like, you know, sometimes when we look at a relationship, we're like, why are you letting him do that?
Right.
Why are you letting him do that? But you're just like, oh no, it's okay. Like, I'll talk to him about it, deal with it. And then you're like, okay, it's going to stop. And then whatever it is, you know, we all go through problems in the relationships. And we're like, maybe we can work it out. Then there's a point where you're like, okay, you know what? No. That's how you end up getting out of that relationship. And you hope that, you know, you see something else in someone else. And then if it doesn't work, you're like, So the reason why I get into a relationship is to get to that, to my particular end goal. And the reason it doesn't work out because there's red flags. And I think a lot of things that we try and pressure ourselves to do, like, especially young women, I'm not even going to lie, it's like, oh, no, okay, he does this, but I'm just going to push it aside. And you still decide to go through because you're like, I want to get married, or I want to get married, I want to have kids. You know, like, people have different end goals.
Okay, but do you speak up about that? When
Yeah.
you see a red flag, you're like, yo, Panasha,
Yeah.
she's messed up.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
The thing is, you know, I'm pretty sure he knows, but I'm a very vocal person. So I'll say it there and then, like, yo. And, like, if it's a sorry, okay, I won't do it again, then it happens. I'm like, but we spoke about this. And to be honest, I think, like, this open communication, I feel like it's kind of rejection on my open communication when someone does something that I said, no, I don't like this. I'm not comfortable with this. And you keep doing it. And I'm like, you know what? Matter of fact, exactly, disrespect. And I'm like,
Okay, but with that fact, we're all flawed. We're all going to mess up. We're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But I feel there's a certain point. Yes, you need to reprimand someone, maybe not chastise them, but you let them know, okay, what you're doing isn't right. But you also have to be aware that you as a person, you do things that your partner doesn't like. And granted, they will tell you, but you're not going to fix it automatically. So,
It's better to
It's
point
a
it out so
process.
you
It
can
takes
work
time,
on
yeah.
it.
It's a
So you can
process.
work on it.
but how do you know whether it's
I
like,
think-
okay, I can't do this with my nigga?
I think for that, what matters is when you can see that this person is working on it. But if that problem keeps coming back as strong and as bad or even worse than it was before, and you can't see how this person's working on it, you know, if it was like anger issues and they still snap at you the same, or they're still like calling you the same things and it's not changing, then it shows that they're not trying to work on it. They're not trying to tone down for you. And for them, they're not considering you in any way.
Okay, hypothetical. Let's say you've been in a relationship with a guy for 4 years, right? And then this happens. Let's say you were working towards getting married. Are you gonna bin it and say, no, I'm done? Because 4 years is a lot of time
Yes, so
you've
working on
invested.
it.
So, baby girl, I need time, girl. No, but seriously speaking, no, because I know people that have been in relationships with other people. Let's say again, Pam, because his name starts with P. Saying that you guys' relationship, a long-term relationship, and Pana has things that he doesn't like about you or things that you do, and he's thinking, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, but I've invested. I've been with this girl for 4 years.
I'm gonna stay.
Yeah, no, that's
Okay, maybe she can figure it out later, but deep down inside, man's like, no, this is
But isn't
you
it
now,
for
Uti, you know
staying
what?
so long and putting up with it for so long, and
Yeah.
you watched it for 4 years and you did nothing about it? Now you want to complain about it?
You see,
I mean, it's been there. You've had all this time to go, but you chose to stay.
Right.
And
That's
put up with it. You saw it. It's there in your face.
that's what I'm saying. You're saying invested, right? You invest in like,
chose
okay,
to
fine, 5 years. I know someone who's in a
Relationship.
What do you?
Investment.
Yeah,
That's an
what's an
investment.
investment?
No, it's
Yeah.
a sunk cost
No.
at that point, though.
Yeah,
It's
Nice.
not an investment anymore.
What? I'm
No, like-
investing in you. I'm giving you my time.
No, at that point, it's not an
I'm
investment
about to
anymore.
throw my glass at you.
You know, you find it
Like
in
I
the 4
was
years,
saying.
give me back my investment.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Like I was saying, a lot of people are like, oh no, I've been in this relationship for a long time, and then yes, he used to do this, or like.
But he
there's
gonna
different-
change.
You know what? I will give an example. I know someone who's dating someone for 5 years. This dude called her names. He used to like go on like dates, like, oh, these are my friends, but go with chicks, and then she would always like be like, yo, stop it. But he would still do it. I think he just noticed that, you know what, she's gonna say it, but I can still do it. And then 5 years later, now she's like, I don't think I can do it anymore.
It's like, but
Can you imagine 5 years of this going on? There's things that you should be like, you know, I don't know why people want to make it seem like a bad thing when you end a relationship. There's things that you can't do anymore. And you're not giving that person all of you. You're not being as honest and being with this person because you're like, I'm charged relationship, but then you know what, we've been together for 5 years. Not bad, like, what are you doing? Just leave.
No, but
Just leave.
isn't that
Yeah,
what we
go
were
on.
saying earlier? But as young people, we don't know how to make decisions. So even in
Yeah.
jobs,
True,
you get people
true.
who've been unhappy in their jobs for the longest time. I hate my boss. I don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
But I know
Think
more
about
guys
it.
to babas at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's the same with relationships. You know, there's some parts of it that will be comfortable. There's someone to talk to at night. If you want to go out, there's someone who's going to hold your hand. You should be
Yeah,
dumb
yeah,
cinema or whatever. So, you know, it gets to a point where it's like, you know, you did that thing again, but you know what? Cool, we'll talk about it later. Or it gets to a point where you don't even talk because now the relationship is just physical. And, you know,
Yeah.
it rides on that where it's like, well, you know, by the time I'm now opening up to somebody else, after everything I put into this, Jack, let me just, maybe
Also-
one day.
Is that a thing with just young people, or do you think married people and parents also could do that?
I think
Yeah.
everyone
I think
goes
it's not just about young people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm sure by now you've realized how many flaws our parents have. You know what I mean? You find the things of a parent, and you're like, oh my goodness. You know what I mean? Like, this person was like that. Is that my parent? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? We all have. I think as humans, we all have flaws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in any relationship, whether it's friendship or, you know, like you're together and whatever, I think the best thing to do is maybe just leave a little bit room for mistakes. Because we're all flawed at the end of the day. No one's perfect. Expecting perfection is kind of unfair on people. You know what I mean? So maybe once we deal with that and accept that, it becomes easier. Like, okay, you know, I might be with Pam, she might leave the stove on. You know what I mean? Might burn the house down. But you know,
Kind of big.
you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I think the degrees to certain things with
Yeah.
the degrees to issues. Some things you can live with. Some things you're like, okay, this I'm potentially risking my life. You know what I mean? My health, my life, my future,
My well-being.
my well-being. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's degrees to it. So I think there's some things that you can accept, and there's some things that you can't. Where it's like, okay, this is a red flag. This nigga just tried to beat me when he was lit. You know what I mean? I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a red flag already. You know what I mean? This girl got violent when she was lit. You know, she's out here yelling at me in the club or all that stuff because I was talking to my friend. That's already a red flag. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think the degrees to like a lot of these things.
I think it kind of all comes down to people being scared of being alone.
Yeah.
And people stick around and put up with things because they feel like, oh, I'm going to be the only person who doesn't have someone, or I'm not in a relationship. And I think people just aren't content with being by themselves and being content as a person, like, you're fine, I'm single, it's all right. Because people now make it seem like with everything that you see on social media these days, it's like you have to be in a relationship and you have to be happy, and that's the only way you're going to be happy. So people just get scared and can't make decisions and stick around and put up with a lot of things, or even get into long distance relationships because they feel like, okay, well, this is the only thing that's going for me right now, so let me stay and put up with this, even though I'm not completely happy or it's not going to work.
These are all like noble type, reasons for why I say women or men would, put up with stuff. But what about the maybe not so noble ones? What about people who are just literally like, you know what? I'm in a messed up economy. It's very hard to get a job out here. This nigga's sorted. I'm gonna stay.
Wow.
If he's gonna go to South Africa and work for them, we need to do long distance. I'm gonna stay.
Basically, you're just saying, okay, I'm not saying you.
For
Loki got me
convenience.
my feels. I was like,
No, because I think
I
there's
get
a
what
big
you mean.
majority of people
Yeah, I
who are
did
like
get
that, where it's
that.
like it's now a practical thing. And again, it's also kind of tying back to some of the points that were made here to say that somebody's with someone else for like 5 years and the building, but then maybe this guy's in a young polyamorous relationship, but
that's not
she.
even a relationship though. That's like you lurching off the guy.
It's not,
It's
or
just-
girl. It happens both ways. It happens both ways.
Because in this particular instance, she said, okay, man, sorry, he's got his job, shop.
Oh,
And
woman.
then you're saying, okay, fine, no,
But
I'm just gonna stick
girls
around.
not gonna
No,
Listen.
do you know what?
That's what I'm
Look at where we are, though, Titch. It's not. This is not a far-fetched notion. Look at
No,
where
it's
we
not.
are,
No,
where
I-
like a majority of people. They don't have jobs, men and women. Like we've seen it on on a Facebook with all these too much scandals of this I don't know names, but this woman providing for her man and he's out here doing a thing and actually we can't do it.
Oh, you mean stunning?
Do you know what I mean?
Cut.
Okay.
But you've got those instances where it's like what, the situation doesn't really breed for me. It's not really ideal for me to maybe be independent and do the things that I need, both for men and women. So here's an opportunity, and I'm a max off from this. If I start to invest from the pocket money, from my hair dues and stuff, and maybe to have a business in a couple of years, I'm gonna stay
You
for
said
those 5 years.
investment, didn't you?
That's
what it is.
That's where your money's going.
That's a thing.
Wow.
Can I say
That's
something?
an actual
I
thing.
Do you know how many people's parents are still married up to now because of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Low.
People
It's a
actually,
thing.
you know what? It's always funny. These things always come out of like family
need-
events and people and a bride.
Yeah.
Auntie's like,
Okay,
yo,
my family doesn't drink.
when Auntie Ningi's like, yo, man, there's this guy I really loved. You know what I mean? Like I thought I was gonna build a future with him. You know what I mean? All that stuff. But then I'm an uncle now. I saw him. My mom was like, yo, this guy has his stuff together. You know what I mean? He's just come out of uni. He's an accountant. He has a good job, and I had to. What could I do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many people in that situation. Like
So
Without
many.
someone, you
that's the
won't have
pressure
anything.
that women get. You see now, with
And
us guys
men.
don't understand.
Yeah, look, I think that's the point. Guys get
Let's
something
not
out
say
of it
women
as
because
well.
we out here.
You know, guys get, some guys are triggered by, I just want to be seen with a fresh stage.
Yeah.
You know, whatever she does, you don't actually like her, you just want to be seen with her. Or someone's, it's, I want someone to put in the home. I know Bika, she will raise the kids.
Yeah.
But the woman I actually love is halfway across the world and we'll meet in Dubai or whatever the situation is. But guys,
That's
it goes
focus.
both ways.
Man can even say
I
Sam
think
Davis.
I think something that also gets us, besides just young people in general, is settling. We don't want to say it, but people settle. Like, well, don't really.
Yeah.
That's he's there,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
I'm not gonna get any better than this,
exactly,
so
and it's
maybe I'm gonna stick with it.
with
Yeah.
things like
Fair
that,
though.
Yeah.
people end up like. I know people who will be like, okay, you got married, both successful. Okay, the guy was successful, she wasn't, and now it's a long distance marriage. See each other every like 2 months, something, and they're like, well, kids are sorted,
I got
the house
range.
is there.
Yeah.
I
You're married.
got a range in the garage, so, but sometimes it can span from just being a long distance relationship to you end up being in a long distance marriage.
What's the difference between like settling and being realistic? Because sometimes you may continue looking at this person who's like who you want to be with, but that's not going to work out, and it's just going to remain painful.
I think the
And
fear.
so sometimes like the practical thing is to go into a place where maybe it's not 100% what you wanted, but it's 90%. And how many people get 100% anyway? So maybe you will still like at least be happy, and that's okay.
Because I even have a relative who literally got with the man for a kid because her parents were just nagging her all the time, like, when are you going to get married? You're 35. And she's
Our
like, you know what?
culture.
Yeah,
comes
and
into
now
play,
the kid's
yeah.
grown. She doesn't even see her husband. He's in a different country. She doesn't really care. She just wanted a kid out of it, and people get off her back. And it is what it is now.
You see.
But I mean, maybe that's okay, because I mean, I know some people who are single and who are perfectly happy with life.
Yeah,
But
I
I
feel-
think the way that our society treats particularly
pressure.
women, if you're an unmarried woman, you're perpetually a child. Like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
you don't have,
yeah.
if you don't have children, you're perpetually a child. Like, you just don't understand
Yeah.
life until you have a child. And you're
Exactly.
like, I've seen a lot of very immature mothers out there that you can't be like, just because I don't have that. So maybe it's okay that, you decided what's the practical thing? What do I actually want? Maybe the whole fluffy forever, like, love forever and ever isn't something that appeals.
I'll ask for advice, and I'll take what I can and what I think is useful. But at the end of the day, I know me best. You know what I mean? And I'll do what works for me. So do what works for you guys. Simple as that. If you can be in a relationship with like 10 of you sharing or whatever, and you can, you're strong enough to deal with that. You know what I mean? Psychologically and mentally, go for it. If you can't, don't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do what works for you. We're all different in the day.
Yeah.
Raised differently, have different experiences in life,
Yeah.
different ideologies. Just do what works for you.
I agree with that. I think that I can't give it like a yes or a no to long distance relationships because it's so dependent on the person and who they're with and like your end goal, all the things that we talked about. So I guess it's look at the holistic package of it. Does this relationship is it feeding the needs that you have? Where do you want this to end up? Is that okay, or is it unhealthy and it's just time for you to be strong and step away from it? So yeah, I mean, know your person, Brian. Know yourself.
All right.
Know your worth.
It's a no from me, personally, for the various reasons that we have touched on. But I think this is a personal kind of no, where I'm looking at it from what I personally want as a person. I want my person to be there. I want the physicalness to be constant, and I want to be holding your hand as we grow.
It's like I like to be constant. For me, it's a no, because my personal experience. Not saying that I don't believe that there are long distance relationships that work. I mean, we're all different. Sometimes it happens. But personally, no.